Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Give yourselves applause. That was a new, restored, remastered, redigitized Blu-ray of Bamboozled, which Criterion's putting out. And I haven't seen like that. I mean, it came out 2000.
20 years.
Back in the day.
Quite a film. Spike, it's been 20 years since this movie came out, exactly. So it seems like the subject, the stories in this are still relevant today. It feels like we're still living some of these same realities. So my question, I guess, is, do we ever feel like one day it will be over? Do you think we will solve this?
The struggle
lifetime?
continues.
The marathon.
The struggle continues.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a, thank you, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I've not seen this in a minute, but just look at those images, the final montage, that tells you how the folks thought about us. Subhuman, animalistic, savages. And I've kept me those things too. Because I started getting to, when you do a film, you gotta get into it. So I did research, I was buying all those, and so, it's still, struggle continues, And this came out in 2000, so again, we're in a position to predict a lot of stuff. Because I just knew that with the internet, that they would start, having, seeing people killed, on the air. I knew that was snuff gun. I knew that was gonna happen, for sure. And then, and one of the things, what this film really demonstrates is one of the main themes of my film. And a lot is you hear the James Baldwin quote at the end. If you look at my films over, going on my fourth decade, one of the things that appears again and again is the character of the film. The choices the characters make and the consequences of those choices. If you go this way or that way. And also you saw that the character Pierre Delacroix, Damon Dinty, was terrific in that role. Is your soul for sale? Is your soul for sale? What? And again, I'm not looking at anybody. I'm just saying it's going out there. When crunch comes, when the rubber hits the road, what will you do for money? And that's something that, since existence of humankind. And, people have their own value system and stuff, and so it really a lot of times comes down to individual choice. What will you do for money? Is your honor for sale? Is your heritage for sale? Is your culture for sale? And these are all things that as human beings, have to deal with. And with your neighbor to the south, we're getting very, very dangerous. We've been there, but now it's really extra now. And with this guy, Agent Orange, He's the epitome of make a buck at any cost. The scientists know what the fuck they're talking about. Climate control, global warming, bullshit. It's fake news. Let's build these dams, these mines. Let's get it. He's done this already. He's got rid of all the environmental protection stuff that Obama put in office. For the love of the buck. Where these people have no conscience, no soul, get on bended knee and kneel before the altar of the almighty dollar. You know, if our product causes cancer, fuck it. Vaping, oh yeah, you know what, let's really trick these kids. Let's have cherry flavored vape and banana and strawberry. For the love of a motherfucking dollar. They don't give a fuck. And it's sad. You know, people die, be injured, whatever it is. Casualties of capitalism. Now, and it's coming to a head now with President Obama said, and he's right, that this coming presidential election 20 will be the most important presidential election in the history of the United States. The history. So, shit is bananas. You know, it's crazy as this movie. That's a crazy movie.
Spike, talking about this movie being crazy, when you were coming here, when you were coming here, you had like tons of movies to choose from to bring here tonight. You chose Bamboozled. Why is that? Why was that important?
I mean, it's evident. We just sat through it. I mean, it's evident. I wanted to, even if you do buy a Blu-ray, it's not gonna be big as this screen. And I like my films be seen, you know, on a screen. Eventually, maybe not. I know people got wide screens, not that wide.
Spike, talking about what's going on right now, something happened last weekend that inspired us a lot. That was the Oscars in various ways. First, we saw that there was not a lot of diversity in the acting categories, but at the same time, something magnificent happened through you. I'd like you to tell us a little bit how you felt that Sunday night when you were wearing this beautiful purple and gold 24 Kobe Bryant tribute costume. You know how to do it, Spike.
Well, I'm not the only one still grieving, you know, so Kobe was beloved. Globally. And a week before, I got the call that they wanted, that the Academy of Motion Picture Art Science wanted to present Best Director. So, my wife and I, we were gonna go. And anytime you go to the Oscars, no matter who you are, you know, what are you gonna wear? And it just hit me, you know, and it came to me like this. I'm presenting, but I gotta represent. I kept saying that to me. I'm presenting, but I gotta represent at the same time. And then, you know, just got it done. But it was great to give that Oscar to Bong Joon-ho. It was, I mean, that's never happened before, where a film won Best Picture and Best Interview. Before we used to call it foreign film, they changed it, PC and politically correct. So first time ever in history, the 92-year history of the Academy Award, no film's ever won Best Picture and Best Foreign, Best International Film. So that's gonna go down, in history. And it was I didn't hang out that late. Now last year,
Oh, last year that was something. Yes, yes.
me and my wife, we went to a couple parties, and I was happy for him.
Yeah.
I was happy for him.
And then you made us all hold our breath for like a couple of seconds when you opened the envelope. And I'm like, oh my God, maybe Spike doesn't like what he's seeing in this envelope, because he was like very serious like this, waiting. And you saw that name. What was going through your mind at that very second?
I cannot pronounce my brother's name wrong.
So all the time you were talking about the pronunciation.
So I did not want to do that to my Korean brother, South Korean brother. So, I'm dyslexic too, so I just wanted to not fuck up.
That was great TV.
So it was meant to be. It was not some type of dramatic drum roll shit. I just had to.
Process.
And what?
Process.
Yeah, dyslexia.
And then I know that Pong.
I call it dyslexic. Shit keeps slipping. And I didn't even know what I had. So my son got diagnosed with it. Yeah, diagnostic with it and shit. That's the shit I got.
I know that
I mean, they had no name for that back then. When I was in school. You just get. Man, I wasn't going to special ed class. I wasn't going to that.
But what I wanted to share also with the audience is that Pong Joon Ho has known.
What'd you say?
Pong.
No, Pong.
Pong.
Like ping pong.
Pong.
Pong, June like the month.
Pong Joon
And Ho like ho. I thought that shit on the plane.
I would have messed it up big time. So he was saying something very special you were telling me today about how he discovered you and your films and what you made him do.
Well, he said this, when you get nominated, you have to go to all these functions, stuff like that. So he said that when we was in college, he was like a part of a film school. I used to have these undercover festivals. His job was to translate. So he learned how to curse from Jungle Fever and Do the Right Thing.
Talking about
Pong Joon
Ho. I'm gonna get it after the end of the night. By the end of the night. Spike, we have a lot of filmmakers coming from all over the world here tonight who didn't want to miss this opportunity. And I'd love to talk about storytelling. Because storytelling, filmmakers are storytellers, and I was curious to know what makes a good storyteller.
I can't answer the question, because then you ask, what's good? And art's a lot of art is about taste. That's why if you're in a school for art, your teachers can mess you up. If you go to law school, you go to law school, med school, business school, there's a test. There's a right and wrong answer. But when professors are great in art, man, I saw it many times when I was in film school. Ernest Dickerson and Ang Lee, we were classmates, and at the end of the semester, you got the screening films for the faculty and teachers, and the stuff that the teachers picked. Me and Ernest were like, that's some bullshit. But it came down to taste. So, if you are in school, or even not in school, but you have to really, I think, be open to criticism, but don't let people just, make you do something that was not the intention. Like turn your story around. You have to have enough confidence. You don't know how to tell it, maybe, but have enough confidence in yourself and the story that you want to tell, because you can tell that story better than your teacher can. Because most young filmmakers, the films they start doing are from their personal experience. And a teacher can't tell you what the life you lived.
That's it. Spike, our Being Black in Canada, 15 emerging filmmakers who are here tonight coming from all over Canada. What advice would you give like young filmmakers like this?
What's the age range?
18 to 30? 18 to 30.
What I tell my students at NYU, the Graduate Film School, first day class, that film is hard as a motherfucker. I keep repeating, because this shit is no joke. It's not set up for us to win. And you saw the end credits, the legacy of what we've had to fight against. I mean, have you ever seen Judy Garland in blackface before? We had Bugs Bunny, a Bugs Bunny cartoon blackface, but Warner Bros. Would give it to us, because I wanted that shit in there. Bugs Bunny, blackface, singing and dancing. So, you can't really half-step with this. Backslide, shucking and jiving, that ain't gonna work. You have to have a commitment that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, or die trying. This is an industry that it's brutal. And it's not for people who have thin skin or tender-headed. Can't be tender-headed.
Spike,
What that is, right?
Spike, you have such a body of work that is impressive over 30 years. And can you tell us like your top 5 Spike Lee films? I'm gonna tell you mine though.
You do that.
Mine is Malcolm X is here.
No, whoa. Go from 5 to 1. Do it that way.
What is it?
Go from number 5 to number 1.
Number 5 to, okay. Oh my God, number 5.
Go back.
You're gonna help me there. 5. Yeah, absolutely. But I'm trying to put them in order. That's the problem. I would say I'm still right there. Yeah. Okay. That's hard. That's very hard. I need a pen right there. Okay, let me do that.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Okay. I'm coming from the top first. Okay.
We cut hair.
That's your list.
Okay, I got it.
25th hour.
Perfect.
You're you're in the minority.
Okay, I got it.
Chirac.
You're in the minority on that one. That's in Chicago.
Okay, I got it. I wish I had 10 to say, but I'm gonna start with it. I'm gonna find. Okay, my top 5. I would say Miracle in Santa Ana. Nobody saw that? Miracle in Santa Ana. Jungle Fever, number 4. Number 3, I would say. Yeah, I'm struggling here, but let's say number 3 would be Do the Right Thing. Oh, wow, right. Because my number 2 is Black Klansman. And my number 1, of course, is Malcolm X. Malcolm X. So, Spike, I know Bamboozled is one of your favorite.
Well, I want to go back to Miracle St. Anna. Miracle St. Anna, it was a novel by James McBride about the Buffalo Soldiers. These are black soldiers who fought World War II, mostly in Italy. A couple weeks ago, I got a letter from a genealogy company that is hired by the United States Army. The letter said, do you have, is your grandfather, Richard Jackson Shelton, had a sister named Patsy Walker, and he never told me about her. It says, Patsy, the sister of your grandfather, had a son named Maceo A. Parker, and he was killed in Italy as a Buffalo Soldier on February 10th, 1945. The war ended in May. So I shot a film about the Buffalo Soldiers, I think it was 2009, where the same region where he died. I didn't even know Maceo A. Parker existed. I didn't even know my grandfather had a sister. Because he never spoke about her. So that's eerie that I would get this letter. I shot a film about these brave patriots who died, in the war. And the thing about one of my favorite scenes of Miracle St. Anna, which demonstrates the insanity of racism. That shit is crazy. It's inhuman. There's a scene in Miracle St. Anna where the black soldiers, our guys, most of the Negro troops, they were trained in the South. Segregated camps. And during the last years of the war, Nazi motherfucking bastard POWs were sent back to these same states. Sent back to the same camps in the South. And this scene, I think, one of the best things ever done, demonstrates insanity and racism. Black soldiers, German Nazi POWs were treated better on the camps than the black. The black soldiers are being trained to kill these motherfuckers, to kill these Nazis and Mussolini's motherfucking fascists in Italy. We're being trained, black soldiers are being trained in Tuskegee Airmen too. We're being trained to kill them, yet in the bases where they're being trained, the Nazi POWs were treated better than the black soldiers being trained to kill them. Better medical care, housing, food. That's why when stupid ass motherfuckers say the black people ain't patriotic, that's some motherfucking bullshit. We fought the first person, you can Google this. I'm not up here just fucking talking bullshit. I'm talking facts. Facts. The first person to die in the United States of America was a black man. His name is Crispus Attucks. Google that motherfucker. Google it. The Boston Massacre. Crispus Attucks, the first person to die for the United States of America. Revolutionary War, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam. And my new film was about the black experience in Vietnam. The film was called The Five Bloods. It's coming out in June, starring Chadwick Boseman. During the years of the American participation in Vietnam, the African American population was 10%. But of the fighting men in Vietnam, black folks made up 30% of the people fighting in Vietnam. 30%. We're only 10%, we're only motherfucking 10% of the motherfucking population. But with 30% of the fighting force? So, when I think about my man, that's why I'm rocking my Kaepernicks. That whole thing got Agent Orange changed the narrative. What my brother Cap was trying to do was bring light to the situation of black and brown people being shot down on the streets in the United States of America. They flipped that it was an insult to the armed forces, that it was unpatriotic. No, it was not unpatriotic. And the media got hold of it. And it's a crying shame that he still has not played since then. I have no love for those NFL owners. I have no love for Roger Goodell. And it's so this comes back to what I said before. The struggle continues.
Spike, is it why one day you said to Oprah Winfrey in an interview, you were born to stir things up? And do you believe that's your mission to continue to do that in your films? Are you tired of playing this kind of role as a filmmaker? And are filmmakers, is it the filmmaker's duty today as a black filmmaker to do that, to be an engaged filmmaker, like somebody that is...
No, we can't. I used to think like that. That was a long, long time ago. Mm-hmm. As Pierre Delacroix said in this film, black people are not one monolithic group. So we cannot just say because you're a black filmmaker or musician or artist that you gotta be, have your black fist raised up all the time. Mm-hmm. Many, many great artists in the past, historically, have said they want to keep, politics, whatever, out of their work, and that's their right to do so. So, people have to follow their path. Everybody can't think alike. People have to follow their path, and just keep stepping. Do your thing. Do your thing.
Spike, at the Oscars, while we were making history with Bong Joon-ho.
Last word.
I'm getting there. At the same time, it was very disappointing that only Cynthia Erivo was nominated in the 4 acting categories. Cynthia Erivo, that plays in Harriet that opened the Montreal Black Film Festival last September, by the way. So it was a real disappointment. And how What do you think of diversity in the Oscars?
The struggle
now?
continues.
What do we do to enhance that? What do we do to change that, to have more diversity there?
Well, the Academy is doing a lot. With the then African American woman named Cheryl Boone Isaac. She was president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And also with the hashtag Oscar White, that really shook them up. And so a lot more people since that year when nobody was nominated have become voting members. But it's not going to change overnight. Not last year, we had 6 African Americans. That was because of what they did. April Rain and Cheryl Boone Isaacs. But last year, I said right that night, ain't be 6 people up here again next year. And I knew that was not gonna happen back to back. So it's historically, if you look at the Academy, it's been feast to famine. I remember one year it was Denzel and Halle, and I think Sidney Poitier got an honorary Oscar, and people were jumping up and down. And,
I thought we made it. We had made it.
yeah, and that's the okie doke. That's how they get you. Feast of famine.
And now come the time to ask you some questions the audience had for you. A couple of quick questions. Spike, they want to know, what is your definition of success?
Next question.
You said you can tolerate laziness, and that laziness speaks of a sense of entitlement.
What?
Entitlement. What do you mean by that?
I don't necessarily tie together entitlement with lazy. For me, I'm just I was brought up in a household, where you weren't allowed to just sit around and lollygag. And my mother, not just me, my mother was on our asses. And it's a work ethic, and I think that you really have to. It helps. You can gain at any age, but when it's still to you by your parents, then it's locked in.
Spike, what is the biggest lesson you learned early on? If you knew now what you know, if you knew then what you know now?
You can't.
Whatever.
I mean, that question, so you're 62 years old now. If you go back and talk to yourself when you were 8, what would you say? That shit can't happen.
I wanted to refer.
I mean, we could. I mean, if what if? What if? What if? It's a big one. What if? Then, before he's president, what happened if Barack took Michelle to see Driver's Days instead of Do the Right Thing for their first date? That's a big what if.
I remember what you said when you didn't get this one. That was frustrating, by the way, because that's one of the most boring films I've ever seen, by the way. I mean, no offense, but I couldn't believe that, and I think so many people can't believe that Do the Right Thing didn't win that day. That night,
Whoa.
that
You
year.
have to be nominated to win.
Yeah, that's true. So talking about that, I know last year changed everything. However, have you felt that the Oscars have been snubbing you for some time? Because we all felt
Yes.
something.
Next question. You I talked earlier about the voting body, the people who voted.
Yeah.
The group now looks much more like America than it did back in 1990.
Exactly. Exactly. So guys, I'm trying to get in some more questions for you that you guys ask. One is, Spike, what keeps you going?
I love what I'm doing. Next question.
Passion. Passion. Besides Agent Orange, what pisses you off?
The motherfucker Houston Astros. Cheating motherfucker.
Now that we're heading to the that one
Yeah, I
is
know baseball, but
that one
they
is
cheat like a motherfucker.
that one is more of a serious question. With what just happened in America, with the impeachment and everything, what is your hope for America or for the next election now?
Keep hope alive. Next question.
That was the next question. What gives you hope, Spike?
Struggle continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Spike Lee.
Thank you, Toronto. T-Dot. NBA World Champion.
Can we have some lights so Spike can see the audience? We'd like to take a big selfie with Spike in the audience, please. Can we have some lights? Fantastic. We need somebody to take a photo here, from here, with Spike. And then can you forget here, please? Can you go here? We're gonna do a big souvenir for Spike. Did you have a good time? We're gonna do a fantastic, exciting picture with Spike and the audience. It's gonna be from Spike. Maybe it should be like this. Exactly. So you turn, and then so they can see everybody. Give your best smile. We're saying this to Spike. Okay. One. Like this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We say Spike Lee. Okay? Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spike Lee. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spike Lee.
Turn around, Spike. All right.
Oh, respect, Spike.
Good. Thank you, everybody. That was fun.
Let's see it. Right, so you good?